As the conflict continues, as I always say, we have so much to talk about, and we have our guests to do so. Journalist and political analyst Ahmad Shahidov is joining us from Washington, D.C. What I see behind him is the White House, as I can understand from there. Mr. Shahidov, welcome. I would like to ask you about the environment there, because I think I'm seeing a Palestinian flag outside of the White House. What is going on?
Yes, greetings from Washington, D.C. Good afternoon. I'm in front of the White House, and as you know, at the back, there are some people protesting against the brutality in Gaza, and unfortunately, it's already 21, 22 days that Israeli army continues massacre, genocide in Palestine, in Gaza. And I have been in New York last week, attended the UN General Assembly on Palestinian issue, and almost 120 countries, UN members, voted for immediately ceasefire in Palestine, in Gaza. Only Israel, United States of America, and some other couple countries, totally 15 countries, voted against this resolution. And so far, the resolution about the ceasefire in UN General Assembly were not adopted. And I watched the Israeli representative in UN about these military attacks. Israeli ambassador said that the Israeli army will continue until the end and destroy all Hamas, and these military operations will continue, and Israel don't care about the UN, don't care about the international community. In fact, that there is no other international mechanism to stop this brutality and to initiate this ceasefire. But anyway, in the United States of America, in Washington, D.C., even in New York and other cities in United States, in other countries of Europe, there are a lot of protest rallies against what's happening in Palestine, and international community, Muslim community, Turkish community, they are against the killing of innocent people. But in America, in United States of America, White House, of course, stand with Israel and supports Israel state in these military operations. Also, yesterday, the Vice President of U.S. Said that U.S. Army will not be sent to Gaza and will not participate in this military operation. But I think that it is somehow it is somehow the double standard, and it's a politics, because in Washington they think that if the third countries such as Turkey, Iran, and other countries will send their troops to Palestine and will fight against Israel, of course, U.S. Army will support Israeli army in military ground as well. So in Washington, there are some two different opinions about the supporting Israel or not. The U.S. citizens and almost the 90% of UN citizens, Americans, original Americans, they stand with Israel, and they are for supporting Israeli army in this ground operation. But Joe Biden and his assistants push Israeli government continue these military operations, but at the same time not to target the civilians, because every day the Israeli army continues these military operations from airstrike, bombardment, and now it continues the ground operations. They're targeting not only the military targets of Hamas, they destroy everything in Gaza, and so far almost 9,000 civilians were killed in Palestine, in Gaza. More than 20,000 people were wounded, and the Israeli army moved deeper and deeper every day in Gaza and destroying everything they face in Gaza: hospitals, schools, residential houses, everything. So I think that there is, unfortunately, there is no any international mechanism, and there is no solidarity in the world that stop this brutality and initiate to make this ceasefire in the region. But from the other hand, if we look to the foreign policy and activity of Turkish top diplomats such as Hakan Fidan and the president of Republic of Turkey, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey is the only country that initiate the ceasefire and peace resolution of this conflict and wants to stop this brutality in Gaza. And if we look the Great Palestine meeting in Istanbul last week, I think that it is a strong message not only to Israel, also to United States of America as well. In Washington here, they also think very seriously and received this message that heard in a Great Palestinian meeting organized in Istanbul to support the Palestinian people. And in Washington, they are thinking about the possibility of Turkish army to be sent in Palestine, and that is why U.S. army is how to say ready and to be sent to help to Israel. So very complicated situation. From one side, the U.S. government wants Israel to continue these military operations and to take control over all the Gaza and to destroy Hamas. From the other hand, the international reactions to brutality and killing of innocent people in Gaza worries United States as well, because United States is losing its reputation because it stands with Israel and support this occupation policy of the state of Israel.
Ahmad, that was a quite intense and insightful declaration of a week, actually. I would like to ask you about your visit to New York, though, because we were actually covering the UN General Assembly about the situation. But what was your insights? What did you feel like when you were watching that meeting?
You know, as I said before, only 15 member countries, including Israel, Great Britain, United States, and some very small African countries, even I didn't remember their names, almost 15 countries voted for continuation of this military operation, and the vast majority, 120 countries of UN, voted for ceasefire and delivering humanitarian aid to Palestine, to innocent people. But, you know, Israel strongly condemned those countries who voted for this resolution, and even said that the United Nations is not a serious organization, and even Israeli official called all countries to stop the financing United Nations, because said that United Nations is no efficient organization. In fact, he is right, because in the background of this brutality happening and massacre, genocide happening in Gaza, in fact, United Nations cannot do anything, because all resolutions, all decisions made in United Nations Security Council and General Assembly were vetoed by United States of America or United Kingdom, and at the end, no resolution against Israel are being adopted. So it is not the first experience. Last 10, 15 years, there are more than 300 resolutions discussed at the United Nations Security Council that were not adopted because of the U.S. veto. And last weeks, there were 4 discussions on Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and one were suggested by Russia, another one by China, and these resolutions aim to suspend these military operations, to make the ceasefire and deliver the humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people. And those resolutions made by Russia and China were vetoed by United States of America. And at the same time, U.S. Raised another resolution about this conflict and completely didn't mention anything about the humanitarian aspect, anything about the ceasefire, and defendant supported self-defense of Israel, and said that the resolution says that Israel has rights for self-defense and has right to continue this military operations, and those resolutions were vetoed by Russia and China. So it means that the conflict in Palestine, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, somehow it is the geopolitical issue and between United States and China, United States and Russia. So no one cares about the people, innocent people killed in Palestine today. And unfortunately, as I said, even there are majority, even the solidarity in United Nations, but at the final step, if the U.S. vetoes this resolution, it means that there is no efficiency, there is not any step, and even Israel, state of Israel said that we don't recognize the United Nations so far. So that's why it means that Israel, by the support of United States, by the support of United Kingdom, will continue these destroying operations, the brutality in genocide in Gaza. And unfortunately, no humanitarian aid was sent to this area, to Gaza, to Palestine yet, and that's why it's very complicated situation. But in geopolitical area, United Nations is thinking and worrying about if Iran and Turkey or other countries will send troops to Palestine. So it means that this war will be enlarged and become, how to say, the Third World War. That's why Washington at the same time continues dialogue with some Muslim countries and warns some countries such as Turkey, Iran, that there is no need to send any troops and support Palestinian people in military area. So I think that Israel army continues and will continue this destroying, and the main target is not just destroying the Hamas. The main target is to take control over the whole Gaza, and by this way to establish more safe and security region in the area.
What I would like to ask you lastly is that your own opinions about what is going on in the United States right now, because it has been like more than 3 weeks that this war started, and in the beginning of it, we've seen the White House, the house right behind you actually, saying that they are in solidarity with Israel, they are supporting Israel for no matter what, and we've seen the same thing for the overall American people as well. But lately we're seeing a shift from the American people as they see what happens in Gaza through internet, through other media rather than their mass media that supports Israel that much. They actually, from what we see from here, that they actually shifted and started supporting Gaza more. Is it true?
Of course, because in general, American people, original Americans, they support Israel, but the military operations, airstrikes, bombardment, and now the ground operation continues already 3 weeks. And these videos that posted on internet shows the brutality and massacres and genocide in Israel even shifts the minds and opinions of the original Americans as well. They also raise their awareness about the innocent people, and they said that maybe there is some possibility not to kill the innocent people, just made military operations against the Hamas militants, Hamas troops, not against the civilians. Of course, if these operations will continue a couple of weeks, I think that I believe that even in America, the people will change their mind about this conflict, and gradually they will start to support Palestinian people, innocent people, and call for ceasefire in the region, because no one in the world can be silent and can close their eyes to all this brutality, to all this genocide that's happening in Gaza almost 3 weeks. Even Americans who stand with Israel, they care about the innocent people, killing of innocent civilians in Palestine.
Thank you so much. That was very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Washington, D.C.
Thank you.